Rolling Hills Asylum. Located in East Bethany, New York, just minutes between two major airports, Rolling Hills Asylum is a hotbed of paranormal activity. They have been featured on Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Challenge, as well as Sci-Fi Channel's Ghost Hunters. Rolling Hills Asylum has been named the #2 most haunted location in the United States by HauntedNorthAmerica.com. The property was established on January 1st, 1827, as the county poor farm. Throughout the years, it has operated as a poor farm, infirmary, orphanage, tuberculosis hospital, nursing home, and more. Past residents and inmates consist of widows, orphans, physically disabled, mentally unstable, murderers, and more. Over 1,700 bodies are buried in unmarked graves, and hundreds more deaths went undocumented. Rolling Hills Asylum is known for a plethora of phenomena, including disembodied voices, doors slamming, footsteps, sounds of furniture moving, full-body apparitions, shadow people, ghostly touches, and numerous Class A EVP. Rolling Hills Asylum proudly offers historical and flashlight tours, 4- and 8-hour public ghost hunts, 8- and 9-hour private ghost hunts, and more, by appointment or pre-booking only. For more information, please visit www.rollinghillsasylum.com. That's www.rollinghillsasylum.com. Or give them a call, 585-502-4066. That's 585-502-4066. Rolling Hills Asylum. What are you doing this weekend?
Welcome into the unknown realm with your hosts, Steve and Naomi from STURS Paranormal. Take a journey with us into a world that few understand and even fewer dare to go. On your home for everything wicked. ATMWickedRadio.com.
Welcome to Into the Unknown Realm. I am Naomi.
I'm Steve. That's right. And I'm tired. Sorry, that was me, Steve, again.
We had the pleasure of meeting Chip Coffey last night, the four of us, and that was awesome.
Awesome time.
Very good show. Good time.
Yeah, and he is a really nice man. If you look on our pages, you will see the pictures of us with him. Excuse me. He's truly the person that he portrays on the shows that he is on, which is Paranormal State, Psychic Kids,
few other guest appearances.
Yeah, and we had a great time. I really enjoyed it. Really nice man.
I do have to say, though,
funny. He's a very funny guy.
I was just about to say, if he doesn't do the psychic thing for the rest of his life, his next career should be stand-up comedian, because the guy is a riot.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully someday we'll have him on our show, which we asked, and we're hoping he takes us up on that right now. Currently he's on a tour. And
it's called Coffee Talk.
Yeah.
Look it up online. You can definitely catch him at a venue near you.
He had some really nice people with him. I think it was Greta and Matt.
Mike.
Oh, Mike.
The Canadian.
Yeah, really nice people. But anyways, I'd like to wish a very, very happy birthday to our teammate Dan Rose.
I even bought you cupcakes, kid.
Yep.
Happy birthday.
We're going to be eating cupcakes for you.
So he was going to be with us tonight on the show, which you can expect him to be on with us another time, but unfortunately he was not able to join us. But definitely a huge happy birthday to him. We also had a great thing happen today that you could see on our pages. Into the Unknown Realm was nominated for Radio Show of the Year for the Paranormal Awards 2014. So we are excited. We are so excited because that's cool for us for starting our...
And who do we have thanks to do
for that?
NEPA.
Oh, yeah.
NEPA. We love them.
Oh,
Thank you, NEPA.
Absolutely. Huge thank you.
They actually helped us out with the place where our guest is from.
Yeah, yep.
Yes, they did. We had NEPA. NEPA team
We did.
there.
We had,
NEPA stands for Northeast Paranormal Associates.
And also,
New Hampshire.
Terry and Brian are nominated for EVP of the Year as well from our group that are with us today. So
Exciting times.
I thought I would mention that as well. We have with us a great, I want to say storyteller, because he's awesome to listen to. I could literally sit and listen to his stories about his lovely home that he bought with his wife Lillian in Gardner, Mass. And I would just love to have the time to just sit for hours and talk with him and hear the stories of things that have happened there and the experiences. We love talking with Edwin, and we'd like to welcome Edwin to our show.
Welcome, Edwin.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're very
Naomi,
welcome.
Being nominated, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Definitely excited.
We had the pleasure of being at your house and experiencing it firsthand, which I'm so glad that we did. It was definitely a wonderful place for us to go. And we were joined by our friends from NEPA, who we were just talking about, and along with Tina and Marion, which are your people. And we had the best time. We really had a great group together and had so much fun. And thank you for letting us come to your home.
Oh, absolutely. I'm still trying to figure out why certain things occur there, and I still, trying to figure out why, and thinking if perhaps one day we'll be back at the house. We still own the house, but we haven't lived there for a better part of 2 years now. So I know that Lillian is drawn to it. She's definitely want to go back. So I don't know what the future holds, but I'm a little bit reluctant to go back. Lillian is definitely, she feels they're calling her back. So we'll see what happens in the near future.
Now, Edward, prior to owning the haunted home, have you or Lillian ever experienced anything paranormal?
Growing up in Boston, both of us grew up in Boston. We never had gone through anything at all as far as the paranormal. Never, actually not believing at all. Actually not believing in psychics, not believing in, not anything that has to do with paranormal, which makes sense. Growing up in Boston, it was just we just never encountered that. So obviously, we first got an opportunity we heard the rumors after we had placed a bid on the home. We thought that it was so ridiculous, and we thought that, well, that's good for us. If people think that, then we're just that explains why we got such a good deal on the home to begin with. So
Right.
So you didn't know it was haunted when you actually bought it?
No, when they put the bid on it.
Yeah, basically what happened was Lillian has a passion for Victorian homes ever since she was a young girl. She just admires them. And she was just, going online. She wasn't really, we weren't even planning on buying a home. She just saw this amazing home. It is a beautiful home. The architectural design is amazing.
Yeah,
and she saw, and when I looked, I thought, oh, there's no way I can afford that, because homes in Boston like that would be worth close to like $3 million, I would guess. Mm-hmm. And Gardner, which is about an hour west, the homes are much less. And I was surprised that a house that was listed at 26 rooms was right around $200,000.
Wow.
And I thought, well, why so cheap? And then I made a call. And 3 days later, we made an appointment, and I remember the call because I said, I'm interested in the house in 4 West Broadway. And the woman, she hesitated, and she said, are you sure you want to see that home? And I just thought that was the way that she had phrased it. So I was like, yeah, and I'm thinking that perhaps there might be something structurally wrong with the home. So during our visit, we were both excited, Lillian more than me, because obviously Lillian loves Victorians, and she walked in the house, and within a matter of just a couple of minutes, she said, "This house is mine." And I was happy that I could get it for her. I had an opportunity to work from home, and we decided to place a bid right there and then. It had been vacant for about 2 years. And while we placed the bid, it was accepted quickly. But then we started hearing rumors. People just started saying that there's rumors about the house being haunted, and we was like, "Are you serious?" And we thought it was just ridiculous. And then, of course, we were 100% incorrect. So by the time we did the closing and we signed papers, I already had heard so much stories about it, but we had not encountered anything at all to that point. So we just knew that we had a great home, and it was beautiful, and it still is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
And then that started the beginning of different things that we couldn't explain, things moving. From the very beginning, we were just bringing in boxes and, just have friends and family helping us out, and all of a sudden it started with a couple of heavy plant holders. And basically, they were in the kitchen, and all of a sudden you could hear it and see it. He just basically shifted over a few inches, and I was like shocked. I'm looking at this, and I said, "Well, there has to be the floor. There's something wrong with the floor. Maybe it's just, it's not level." And we not all by it, and we basically just shrugged our shoulders and just said, "Whatever, it's not a big deal." And then that started, and then we had a couple of other incidents during that same evening of things moving. It started with an ornament that we kept finding in the middle of the floor on 3 different occasions. So, it was always the same ornament, and it was always found in the exact same spot. And I thought it was baffling because we thought it just basically rolled off. However, it's glass and it didn't shatter. So we just didn't understand. It didn't shatter and why we kept finding it in the same spot. Later on, we ended up finding, we heard an EVP that was captured that said Jonas bus bulbs or bulbs. We think we're saying bulbs. So, which is ironic because we found out, we didn't know what the name Jonas meant. Found out that the owner of the house, who built the house, S.T.U.R.S, his brother that he bought the back. His brother were named father and brother. We just thought that was odd that we got that name, and then it mentions bus bulbs. So,
wow.
So that was basically the beginning, and then this is something that I just found out this year. Lillian was being interviewed for a show called Paranormal Witness.
Yeah.
But something that she kept away. The reason why she kept it away from me is because she didn't want to alarm me, because during that first winter when we had purchased the home, Lillian used to go by herself. And she loves everything organized. She liked everything has its place. So she was in the basement for quite, many days down there. And she basically, what she calls them are shadow people. And she would dart from one side to the other side. There's huge rooms in the basement. They're very tall. And she would see in a corner of her eye these things that would just dart all over the place. And it really startled her at first. And then she tried to just finish what she was doing just to hurry up and call it a night until one hovered over her. And I think that's when that was the scariest one that she encountered while she was there. And she never did anything. She knew that if she told me that would have put a red flag, and I would have not been too thrilled. So she basically kept it quiet, thinking it was not a big deal. And then officially we moved in April of 2009, and that started. The first week there was a bunch of things going on as well. Again, this is my first experience of seeing something that I could not figure out what it was. We both have 2 little Malteses, and I don't know if you guys like Malteses. They basically bark a lot. They don't usually growl. And this happens time after time, almost always around the same time. A little bit after 2 o'clock in the morning, both dogs, which sleep with us, would start growling at something that's out in the hallway. So what happened was I would say I was in the house no more than a week, and the first thing that I noticed, every time I would wake up, my blanket, just me, my blanket was always pulled off of me. It was always found on the bottom of the foot of the bed, on the bottom of the floor. And I could not figure out my life. It never happened to me before. It's never happened to me since, until we moved out of that room. It was called the red room, and then we moved into the master room, and it never happened after that. And I remember when the dog started growling in the middle of the night. That's when you wake up, you're looking to see what they're growling at, and right there is where I saw what I considered what is a shadow person leaning over. What I used to do is put a radio out in the hallway, like a Sirius radio, just to listen to classical music, which is very relaxing. And that's where I saw this thing that I couldn't see through lean over, either listening to it, intrigued with it, or drawing energy. I still can't figure out what it was. And this really did me. And I didn't know what was going on. And then finally, even after when we moved out of the into the master, it would happen again, roughly around the same time, around a little bit after 2 o'clock. So, and again, sometimes the dogs, I guess they have a sense that they can see things and hear things a lot better than people, and because they can see which direction they'll pan out into the bathroom, because that's where they can either see it or hear it or sense it. I don't know. So, and they're both drawn to it. And unfortunately, both our dogs have, I found them, the younger of the two dogs, I found her shaking one day in a corner. And from time to time, I don't know what that's about, but that started the beginning. And then I had a life-changing experience that has affected me to this day. I even now, if I go to the house, I do feel.
It's breaking up.
Edwin?
Can you hear me? Okay. Hello.
Oh,
You keep breaking up.
Yeah, we just lost your signal there for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's my headset or not. But I'll let me know if it's still happening.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically the experience that I had, which has affected me, affected the way that I would sleep, eat, work, and I would say it was mid-afternoon, a little bit after 5 o'clock, and I was rushing to get my work done, just to spend a little time with Lillian, when in the corner of my eye I saw something black forming. And when I turned my head to see what was there, that's when something jumped up. And when I looked, there was a man about 2 feet away from me. And he had jet black eyes, and he had like a pasty white skin, and he looked angry. I mean, really angry. It was almost like I can feel what he was trying to, I don't know if he was trying to tell me, but I could sense that he was not angry that I was there. I felt like I was invading his space. And when I saw the ground, I just fell, and I just started shaking, and Lillian heard me, and she said, "Are you okay?" And then this weird twist of I don't know, some type of an omen or something. That's when we decided that Lillian said, "Just relax, go across the street and grab something to eat." And when I went there, I noticed there was a kind of like a commotion going on. There was a lot of cars, ambulance, and I spoke to the owner, and I said, "Is everything okay?" And he said that some gentleman had a fatal heart attack. And I just thought, "Oh, that's horrible. I'm thinking about the family." And then it kind of dawned on me that when I went back to the home that across the street, it was almost around the same time that I actually saw something. And it just, I was like, did I actually literally see someone who had just passing through? Or was it someone related to the house? So that's when I started doing some research. And one of the people that I spoke to was the previous owner. And I talked to him, and I told him what I had seen, and he says, well, I don't know if you know this, but back in 1963, there was a man who burned to death in the master bedroom. And then he started telling me about the details when rushed up. The fire had put itself out, but unfortunately the gentleman was completely burnt on the mattress. There was no damage to the floor, walls, or ceiling.
How odd.
So it was bizarre and kind of died mysteriously because they're not sure what would cause that. So, and if you ask me the most haunted room, I'm going to tell you it's the master bedroom because there's way too much stuff that we deal with, and that started the beginning of so many different things, all different times, usually in the middle of the night, sometimes early in the morning. And I was shocked at one particular thing because I didn't know how to handle it, and I was nervous that whole entire day. And basically what happened was it started with the chanting. The chanting has been, we've heard over and over again, at least close to a dozen times. It's always the same voice, female voice, very soothing voice, and Lillian described the exact same voice. However, there was one morning, about 7 o'clock in the morning, when the chanting started. And basically I ignored it. Lillian heard it. She told me later she heard the exact same thing. She basically, and then she woke up because it was very chilly. It was a late November evening, and she does this little ritual where she takes 2 thick blankets and wrap it around her. You can see her eyes. And her blanket pulled completely off her. And when she woke up, I thought it was strange. She got up and she walked in front of the bed, and she was almost like humming a lullaby, which I thought was very bizarre because it's unlike her character. She usually doesn't really say nothing until she has a cup of coffee, so I thought it was odd. So anyway, it just stuck in my head. And then she went, and usually we have to warm up the bathroom in order to take a shower, but she decided to go ahead anyway. She showered, and then she had, she did her hair. She had makeup on, and she had nice clothes on. So I thought she was going to do an errand. So I thought. So then I decided to work a little bit early. It's about 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm working, and every so often I would glance outside, and I noticed that the car was still there. And then soon it became about 11 o'clock. I don't hear a sound. I don't hear anyone. And I looked again, and the car was still there. And then around noon, I decided to take my headset and start looking for her. And there's 26 rooms in a house, so it took me a little while. And I made it halfway down to the basement, and I could hear like a little shuffling going on. And when I looked, she was in a corner, and she was digging. Now, it was completely filthy. The stuff was just coming up, and all her clothes basically got ruined. And then I looked at her, and I said, "Hon, what are you doing?" And she looked at me, and she said, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, you don't know what you're doing? And it was just bizarre. And then she snapped at me. She said something like, "Leave me alone. I got to finish." Harsh voice. And I was like, I can't figure out women. Figure this out. I didn't understand what was going on.
Hey. No.
We all try, Edwin. We all try.
Basically, I went upstairs. I went back to work and still shaking my head. And about 20 minutes later, she comes up and she says, "Hun, I found something." And her mood had completely changed. And I said, "What did you find?" And then in her hand, she holds out a bone. And I said, "What's that?" And she goes, "It's a pelvic bone. I know it's a pelvic bone." That started a chain of different events that started, and she doesn't recall what she was doing. She says that every so often she would start digging, and then she would say, "What am I doing?" And then she would just snap out of it and just go back and continue doing what she was doing. So it was just one of those bizarre things, and I had no idea that this could occur and it could use someone to do something for them. So that was one thing that was very alarming to me, that it was using her to do something. And then another, again, 7 o'clock in the morning, it started with the doorbell we get things in sequences of threes. I didn't know for the life of me why we would get everything in threes. So basically what happened was there was the doorbell had rang, and Lillian, she nudges me and she says, "Get up, there's somebody here." And I thought it was a bunch of workers, and I wasn't ready for them to come in yet. And all of a sudden, within like a fraction of a second, on our bedroom door, I mean, these are huge doors, banging, 3 bangs. If you could pound on the door any harder, there were 3 bangs, and neither one of us paranormal at all. Actually, I thought it was Lillian's brother that he was at the house, but I was like, why would he be here so early? I didn't understand why. So within a second, I just leaped up, opened a door, thinking that I'm going to see someone there, and there was nobody there. And then I just bolted down the stairs, and Lillian looked behind the curtain to see if she could see had been ringing the doorbell, and I found nobody downstairs in both entrances. So I was just baffled by that. I was very nervous the whole day, thinking that it means something, warning us something. I didn't know what it all meant. I had no idea it could bang that hard, and then it was just too much from the very beginning. And basically what we did is we basically kept it quiet for a better part of about almost a year. And it was nonstop. I mean, it would be the shadows. You would smell like almost like smelled like a campfire. And sometimes I remember one night I was actually really freaked out on this. It was, again, in the master bedroom. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and we're saying our good nights. And I asked Lily, "Do you hear that?" And all of a sudden, you can hear what sounded like a kid running directly above the master bedroom. You could hear it right on the ceiling, clear as day. And I said, "What does it sound like to you?" And she said, "Well, it sounds like someone running." And then it kept going back and forth, and then finally, I don't know how.
Edwin?
We lost you.
Hello? Edwin? Huh.
We lost you, Ed.
Are you with us, Edwin? Hello?
Oh, sounds like we've
Lost the connection there.
Edwin and...
I didn't
Oh,
at all.
there you are.
I
Edwin?
knew
We got you.
that there was something right there at the foot of the bed going back and forth, and I just waited for this. Hello?
Oh, we
Hello?
Lost you for a while.
we lost you for like a good, I think, 10 seconds.
At least.
Oh,
Are you there,
Hello?
Edwin? Hello? Oh, did you do that?
Nope. We just lost another caller for a second.
Okay, well, hopefully Edwin will be calling back in.
Back there, yep. We have just a little brief hiccup there with the call connection, but
You know what?
Haunted Victorian in Gardner, Mass.
Yes, very cool
Nice
place.
Nice
It's-
place.
It's very spooky looking on the outside, but inside
it's
it's
beautiful
so...
gorgeous.
on the inside.
A lot of character in the wood.
I actually think we all walked away with personal experiences of our own in that building. And I can't wait to get Edwin back on the line because the personal experience I had was almost like the one he was talking about with the apparition appeared so close to him.
Right.
Where I actually thought that kid was sitting down in the chair behind me.
Really?
You know?
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
creepy.
you're talking about in the master
In
bedroom?
the master bedroom.
Yeah. Where you
I
saw
actually
the
thought
shadow.
that there was somebody there, and I actually had said, "Excuse me." Let's see if we can bring Edwin back on here.
You there, Edwin?
Hello?
Yay! I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden all we could hear is shh.
Yeah. We heard snow.
And then we heard and then shh. So we're glad that you're back with us.
We were hoping we were going to get some paranormal stuff through the white noise there.
So anyways.
Yeah, I was just completely freaked out about that whole thing that was running back and forth in the master bedroom and feeling. So I completely freaked out on that. So, and the thing is with me, I just don't handle when things are going on like that, I didn't know how to respond, how to handle it, because all of this was new to me. So it was very difficult for me. And then I started doing some research, and finally we had a gentleman who stopped by, and he knocked on the door, and the gentleman was a paranormal investigator, and this had been about 8 months, and he basically said, are you experiencing a lot of paranormal activity? And I looked at him, I was like, I know. And then he started telling me the different things that the history of the house, along with, he forwarded me a photo that was captured in one of the mirrors in the ladies' parlor. It was 2 children that were captured in a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And way before I even owned the house, and that's when I started finding about claims about children. And along with the speaking to the previous owner, talking about the gentleman that I saw that flashed in my face that late afternoon, he also started telling me about how he used to see a little boy that when he was late at night while he was sitting reading the newspaper, he would see a little boy run up the stairs. And he would see him from time after time, and then he thought it was actually his son who had been out of bed. And then when he was on him, he was sound asleep. So, and he started telling me about that, and this happened on a few occasions, including when he was younger. And he would hear him having a conversation with someone, and then when he would go check, there was nobody. So that's when the first claims of hearing children that I heard. And
Edwin?
Are you there?
Oh,
Yeah.
you're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah.
Breaking up a little, Ed.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know if it's the internet connection or what's going on, but I'll try to make it as best I can. Let me know if you can't hear me.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically I'm just going to tell you a story of how it was June 1st. Actually, I remember the date clearly. June 1st, 2011. A family moved in next door. The woman had 2 young boys, one 5, the other one's about 7. And I noticed usually that age they're always running all over the place, and I noticed that the younger one of the boys kept staring at something in the window. Someone of his age is staring at something, and he basically just stayed still. And on the next day, I noticed that he was doing the same thing. So because my window's facing their house, and I worked, the little boy intensely at something up on the 3rd floor. And I thought he was looking at birds or something like that. The next day, I go outside, and the mother was on the porch, and she said, "Hi, I'm Katie. I'm your new neighbor." I said, "Well, I'm Edwin. Nice to meet you." And she looks at me, and she says to me, "How many kids do you guys have?" And I could see her down, and I said, "What are you looking for?" And she says, "I'm looking to see if you have any toys." And I said, I don't have any kids." And she kind of looked at me. She took a step back, and I said, "Why do you ask?" She said, "Because Joshua says that the little boy upstairs wants him to play with him in the big hallway." I said, "What?" And that's when Lillian overheard the conversation, and we both started asking Joshua, "What are you seeing?" And then he said, "Yeah, sometimes I see him all the way up on the 3rd floor. And he wants me to play with him, and his mommy won't let him come out and play. Can I play with him?" And we were like, we don't have a little boy. And I remember when we finally let him into the house, that's when he basically took off, and he appears, and he says, "This is where he wants me to play with him." And he went inside the nanny's room. And so I was just baffled, because first he had never been in the house before. How does he know there's a big hallway in the 2nd floor? How does he know? And I was just about it. Was the year early on the other side, neighbor from behind the house. He was out so often. We'll talk and have small talk. And I was in the yard, and he called me over, and he said, "Hey, Eddie, come here. Can I talk to you?" And I said, "What's up, Mike?" And he says to me, "I didn't know you had a son." And I said, "I don't have any kids." And he says, "Well, who's the little boy that runs forth on the window like he's playing a game? I can see him on one side of the house, and then I can see him on the other, running forth." And I said, I don't know what you're seeing. I was shocked at what he was saying because, first of all, there's no way that could happen if there was a little boy because there's 2 walls and the grand staircase. So I don't know how he's seeing this. I invited him in, and sure enough, he was scratching his head because he thought it was going to be a long. So, it's just things like that, and that was the first claims of people saying that they're seeing a little boy since I had purchased the home. So,
Edwin, do you know if there was a little boy that maybe passed away, or the history of the house that could support the seeing of a spirit of a little boy?
Well, actually, because once I found out that the claims of a little boy, then I started doing some research. And one of the from gathering my research, one of the things I found out was that S.T.U.R.'s granddaughter, Rachel, had passed away in 1916 from the Spanish flu.
Wow.
And find any information about a little boy. However, there was a newspaper clippings that were dated back to the early 1900s about a bunch of children that had drowned in the pond that belonged on the property in Pierce. It's about 3 houses down. It's no longer the Pierce land anymore. It was taken away within the past 60 years. So, but at the time, it belonged to S.T.U.R.S. So I don't know if the children, the boys, are related to what happened, to drown. But so basically, that's the only thing that we could find that had any inkling on like having a little boy, about the hauntings of the little boy in that.
That makes sense, though. Maybe a connection there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Edwin, do you think, by any chance, that the activity has been so pronounced with you because your name is so familiar to some of the people that have actually lived in the house? With your name being Edwin, and I believe there was an Edward. Let me make sure I get this right. Yeah, Edward W. Pierce, which I believe was the son of S.T.U.R.S.
Well, there's 2 things that are really odd. Recently, about 3 weeks ago, someone had pointed out to me that there was once an Edwin who actually lived in a house.
Oh.
He was actually a servant.
Oh.
3 weeks ago. And what's ironic is the gentleman who burned to death had a sister named Lillian.
Wow.
Now, and the other thing that's odd is when we first purchased the house, we were taking pictures, and there's what's called a cistern located in the house that would fill up with rainwater and channel throughout the sinks of the house. And when we did a close-up, I got chills because it says on the actual, it's engraved on the of the.
Could you tell us again what it said, Edwin?
You broke up a little.
Tell us again what it said on the cistern.
Yeah, on the cistern, on the pulley, it actually has my name on it. It's engraved. It says Edwin on the pulley, which I thought was really odd.
Yeah.
That what are the chances of my name being on there?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I remember that.
Mm.
Very
goes
cool.
reincarnation type thing or something like that. It's mind blowing when you start thinking about it. So. But yeah, so for the better part of a little bit over 2 years, we were getting so much stuff going on, and I just didn't handle it very well. I found out since that you can't show any fear, but at the time when you don't know what's going on and it's all new to you and you don't know how to deal with it, I just did not deal with it very well, and neither did Lillian as well. I mean, Lillian would encounter different things. And I can tell you a story that happened to her, which she's to this day is absolutely, like, she's very frightful about this incident that she had. Because I work from home, every so often I have to go into the office in Boston. So this was her first time being alone in a house. And Lillian decides that she wanted to run a wire from the second floor down to the first floor in the kitchen so she can have internet service. And while she was doing that, she behind the wall, she came across some original wallpaper of the house, like about a dozen small pieces. Basically, put it on the ground, and across a wooden spoon, an old antique wooden spoon. So she basically put both together and she placed it between the trash can and the sink, which is in a corner of the kitchen. She went ahead and she continued doing chores in the house, and when she went into the kitchen, she noticed that all the little pieces of wallpaper were stacked nicely in the middle of the floor. And she knocked that basically moved over, I would say about 5 feet, all in the middle of the floor. So she quickly blamed Wendy, Wendy's being one of our dogs. She thought that she had done it. So she scolded her and she said, "Bad girl," and then she basically picked it up and she put it on top of a little stand, which is about 4 feet high and the dogs can't reach. And she basically left it there. She went on to continue doing work around the house. And when she went back into the kitchen, she noticed that all the little pieces were back in the middle of the floor. So this is the second time that it's happened. So at this point, she decides to do something which I was not thrilled, but she did. And I don't know why she did this. Decides to try to invite this thing in toward her. So she starts asking whatever's there, can you come toward me? Can you hold my hand? Can you touch me? Can you move this? So she started doing that for a good 10 minutes, and the wallpaper didn't move. So she basically she left, and all of a sudden, I would say about a few minutes later, she heard a noise coming from out in the foyer. And the dogs quickly ran, and they started barking at whatever they heard. And she thought somebody was coming up the stairs from the front porch. She realized that the dogs took a turn, and they didn't go by the main door. They actually went by the hallway, and right there where the ceiling and the wall meet, they started looking at something barking uncontrollably. That's when Lily went out to see what they were barking at, and that's right in front of her, within about 4 feet in front of her. She heard what she calls the creepiest thing she's ever heard in her whole life. She said she only just sounded like a grizzly bear. It just a growl completely frightened her to the point where she did not even want to do it. She basically freaked out. She quickly grabbed the dog. She went into the kitchen. She closed the door, and she stayed there. And then when I got home, she told me what had happened. And I really didn't have an answer for her. I kind of said, well, there's not much we can do. This is just something we've been dealing with. It's a haunted house. There's nothing we can do. So I basically just went to bed. And she decides to go watch TV. It's about 1 o'clock in the morning. And she shuts up and is going into the kitchen. When she gets into the kitchen, she realizes that the wallpaper is back on the exact same spot again for the third time. That's when she was just so excited that she basically ran upstairs to wake me up to tell me that the wallpaper has moved on for the third time. So, really bizarre, and I told her not to do that, not to invite this. Because sometimes I think it could be something posing as something like a child, but it could be something, I would say, more sinister maybe. So I wasn't too thrilled with that. And better part of those 2 years, it was just too many things. The footsteps, the slamming of the doors. And one time I thought this was really strange. I was in my office, and we heard this loud crash. It sounded though like a chimney had collapsed. So both Lily and I took off. I ran downstairs to where it was coming from. Lillian ran from the kitchen. We went down to the basement where it was coming from. When we opened up the door, now there's a ledge, 2 ledges on the basement when you open it up, and there's stuff on it that are about 6 feet long, and then, you have paint cans, things associated in the basement, plywood, and a whole bunch of different things that were all along this ledge, about 6 feet long. Everything from end to end was on the bottom of the basement. Literally, the only way is you have to start from one end and push everything from one side all the way to the other side. And everything was at the bottom, piled up on top of each other. It was the most bizarre thing, and we had no explanation how could everything had fallen at the exact same time. I mean, there's one thing gives way, let's say a piece of plywood, but for everything to be down in the basement is virtually impossible. So, I mean, these are things that we had to deal with, and we basically kept our mouth shut. We didn't want to say nothing to no one. We didn't know how to handle it, and we didn't know if we should start telling people about it. I don't know. I kept thinking that people were crazy, that people were going to, and I didn't know if the minute you say your home is haunted, which obviously everybody knew, then people are going to start either looking at you odd or And so I waited for the longest time until I had no choice, but I finally contacted someone. And within a matter, they were there for only 3 hours, and they captured so much evidence. I mean, that first evening, and it was really strange because they came in, 3 hours later they were gone. I was like, that was odd, that was quick. And when they came back, they basically got a woman moaning in the Red Room in a sexual way. She had been moaning for quite some time. So it was an EVP about 9:30 at night. There was a bunch of motion detectors that kept going off at a specific time in the room where the ornament kept moving. They also got some footsteps of a woman with sandals walking in the basement. They also captured some other EVPs and a white light. And I'm sure there was other things I can't remember offhand, but there was so many things within that span of 3 hours. And they basically just gave me a diploma that said your house is haunted. So basically a certain
yeah.
That's it. So which was
good experiences.
Yeah. So it kind of like did some of the things, and but so more or less that's what happened. And then after that, we've had a few more groups come in. And usually around the winter time, we usually don't let anybody come in because the cold is just too intense. I mean, we have pellet stoves and they usually warm up pretty good, but for the most part, we don't allow anyone to come in during the cold months for about 6 months. So it is a fascinating.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It just said, for the most part, most people are fascinated with the house. They keep coming back because they love the home. It has other things going for it as well besides the paranormal. It also has a lot of history that's attached to it from people like P.T. Barnum used to be a...
We did a
P.T.
history
Barnum
write-up on it, too.
I know that there used to be a circus train up the street, and he became good friends with S.T.U.R.S. They were all Masons. And so they all used to gather together and used to go up in the billiards room and play pool. I found some documents that the pool table auctioned off at almost $300,000.
Wow.
And I was, way more than the house was ever worth. And I was like, why? And then it's just because of P.T. Barnum playing on it along with Calvin Coolidge, the president, before he was president. And also the other person was Norman Rockwell and Minnesota Fats, a famous pool player. They all toured the house, and so I thought that was fascinating. The history to me was fascinating on my end. And, of course, Lillian found the architectural design fascinating for her because it is beautiful. These beautiful doors, mahogany doors, and the house is absolutely amazing.
Is amazing in there, the walls and the moldings, and it's just so stunning inside. I mean, you drive up to it, it looks spooky. It definitely looks like a haunted house from the outside, but the inside is just amazingly beautiful. Just the wood alone is just magnificent, and that's awesome that it's been maintained all that time. And just beautiful, absolutely stunning. And I love all the different rooms in it. Well, except for one, the bird room. That one's a little creepy. But, now, Edwin, we know that you've been shown on several of the ghost shows that we all know of. I believe it's Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Witness, and A Haunting, which A Haunting was on yesterday, I believe. Correct?
Yep.
Do you know the actual episode numbers of these shows that people could maybe look them up on YouTube, or if you know if they're showing again soon that you want to mention?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Like the one that I found was the Ghost Adventure, which was Season 8, Episode 6. That one was, to me, by far the most accurate that shows what we encounter and what did an investigation, and they had quite a lot of stuff. And one in particular, which I thought was amazing, was, first of all, I didn't know that the homeowner did an investigation. I never knew that during Ghost Adventures.
Mm-hmm.
So I was across the street, and Zach had called me over, and he said, we would like for you to investigate. And I said, really? So I thought it was bizarre. And anyway, I went in, and sure enough, we would go down to the basement. That was our first stop. And right away on their ghost box, they got he's here. And that was the first thing. And then there was a couple other minor things, but it wasn't until we hit the third floor, which was absolutely crazy. Basically, the minute we got into the servants' quarters, Zach looks at me and he goes, I want you to think about a question that you want to ask to the spirits of the house, anything that you want to ask. And there was a lot of things going through my head, like, for example, like, are you trying to harm Lillian? Do you want us here? Do you want us to sell? And the first thing that popped in my head was, who's the woman of the house? And within a fraction of a second, you hear Lillian. And that completely blew. It was like, oh, snap. The only thing is I didn't say snap, though. So, I mean, I was like, and it was really, and then all of a sudden, like a few seconds later, you hear, do you know who this guy is? And you hear a little voice. It sounded like a little girl, and she said, hi. And then there was a couple of other EVPs, and then there was these weird lights that were going into the birds' room. So it was quite interesting. I enjoyed investigating. The guys were awesome. All three of them were the nicest people, and so I thought, and that was very accurate because some of the voices that they captured were similar to what has been captured in the past. So I thought it was great. So by far, I would say that one was the best one. Yes, I mean, we had some other experiences with some of the other ghost shows as well. Ghost Hunters did get a lot of stuff in my office, which was originally the nursery. And one of the things about that was that I would encounter, and I didn't know how to handle, is hearing a lot of footsteps in the nanny's room and in the nursery. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say, and I didn't know how to handle it. So basically, I wrote something on Facebook, and a gentleman named Carl Johnson, he contacted me, and he said to me, you need to get up and be very firm and tell it to leave you alone. And I felt a little bit odd, felt like I was talking, and all of a sudden I got up and I said it, and all of a sudden the activity just stopped, which I thought was really odd. I had no idea that, they would listen to you. So I mean, I thought that was kind of way about, so.
Yeah, I know, like the nanny's room, when you were giving us the tour, I usually don't have like a sick feeling, like I'll feel if the room's uneasy or whatever. And that one room, when we were in there, I just all of a sudden started feeling sick to my stomach, like in the gut-wrenching part of my stomach.
She actually stopped at the door jamb and had a hard time crossing around.
No, I was in the room for a little while, and then I tried to bear with what I was feeling, and it's just like, okay, I need to remove myself from the room. So I just walked out right outside the room, and it went away. So that was one of my most memorable memories from being there. Now, Edwin, is there certain times or whatever that you have people come in to investigate, or is there any information you want to share with our listeners for people who would like to come in and investigate your place?
Actually, one of the things very dear to my heart is we do a fundraiser called the Relay for Life.
Mm-hmm.
It's Sunday, around 4. To relay all the money's going straight for life. So that's something dear to my heart. I'm having family members away from cancer, and then also for any other investigation. Going to last of the year.
You're breaking up, Edwin.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this better? Can you hear me now?
Okay, just say that last part over again for us.
Besides the Relay for Life, we're actually only have a couple of things left for the remaining of the year for the month of November. So some of the things that are going on is like we have the Legends Trip event with Jeff Belanger.
Mm-hmm.
Doing an event coming up on the 9th of November. And then we're doing one with another group on the 2nd. And if anybody has any questions, you can look me up on either send me an email or through Facebook, Haunted Victorian Mansion, or the website, hauntedvictorianmansion.com. And let them know some details of what some of the is interested. But and you know, our main goal that when we decided.
You there?
Breaking up, Edwin.
I'm sorry, I feel so bad. It must be the internet connection, but
it's okay,
yeah, I mean,
as long as we keep you here.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that what you're saying is getting out to the listeners. So
yeah.
I mean, basically, what we want to do is obviously a house like that requires a lot of upkeep. So we're just basically trying to maintain it, try to do some work to it, and so others can enjoy the home as much as we do, either where they're investigators, the tour. We want everyone to experience the home, whether if it's just looking at going back in time. You feel like you're going back in time, so you're going back to a. Yeah, so it's either that, and some people who are interested in the paranormal, or perhaps they're interested in the architectural design. All three of them are A+, believe that. So, and that's all we want to do is just allow people to experience stuff.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so it's all good. But yeah, so long as and we'll see what happens the following year. We're not sure what we're going to do, what plans we have for next year. So hopefully everyone gets a chance to at least experience once. And I look forward to seeing you guys.
Oh, we'd love to come again.
Yeah, I would love to come back in the spring.
My personal experiences alone want me to come back.
We want to bring our friend Nipa again too. So
you were actually saying about how that spirit materialized right around you in your office. We were actually in your master bedroom, and I was over by the windows, and you have some sort of like wicker chairs set up in the window, and we were actually getting the tour from you, and my back was to one of the chairs, and as I stepped back, I caught out of the corner of my eye what I thought was a little boy sitting in the chair, to the point where I actually stepped forward and said, "Oh, I'm sorry," because I thought there was someone there.
Wow.
And everybody was like, "You're sorry for what?" Obviously, no little boy sitting in the chair.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow. Yeah, I mean, there's been many who have said that they've seen a little boy or heard a little boy. I was completely blown away. The caretakers, which is Marion and Tina, every so often they'll go in the house just to take care of the house. And what they do is every so often they'll have a recorder with them. And Tina actually had a camera, and she decided to take 3 quick pictures. And what she wanted to do is say, if there's anybody here, I'm going to take a picture. And she felt that there was like a child there. So that's what made her want to take 3 pictures. She didn't find anything in her photos. However, she wounded the tape, and to the point where she says, if there's anybody here, let me take a picture. You hear a little voice come out by the staircase that says, "Come and find me," which is it was.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because you can hear it's coming within the quarter, like within a few feet. Very, very creepy. It sounded like a boy, maybe about 7 or 8 years old. Very, very chilling. So, and a lot of people have gotten things like that, similar to that. So it is a great location, and we're still trying to figure out why that little boy haunts the spot. So, and continues to haunt.
Well, Edwin, we are actually running out of time. I know we could probably talk to you for a good 3 hours on your great stories that you have about your beautiful home.
Awesome location.
Yeah, definitely. But we want to definitely thank you for being on our show. Also, thank you so kindly for when we went to go visit you, you put on your Facebook, you gave us an A+++++ for our team, and I just wanted to personally thank you for that. That was very, very thoughtful of you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we can't wait to come back. We can't wait to get more of our team there and, come in and do what we do to see if we can get you some of the answers for what you have. So.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. I mean, I remember all very, very nice to us, and I was so happy, and you guys are so professional, so for that, you guys are always welcome to come back, so I thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, we all appreciate that.
We will definitely be in touch.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Well,
Definitely.
best wishes to you and Lillian. Hope the best for you guys, and have a great Halloween season.
Absolutely.
Happy Halloween, and thank you, Naomi, Steve, and everyone else. Thank you so much. You guys
You're welcome.
are awesome.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Edwin.
Now, for our listeners, we will probably be posting some of our EVPs that we caught at the Haunted Victorian on our Facebook page. We actually wanted to, sorry, Steve almost knocked down our microphone. We wanted to share some of them, but we were so enthralled in Edwin's stories that we thought that was a little more exciting. So we definitely want to share those on our Facebook page. And maybe we'll even share them on our Halloween special that we have coming up.
Oh, yeah, Halloween special.
Yeah.
Gotta definitely stay tuned for that.
2 weeks, yep. We have some very special guests.
Can you give them a little bit of a hint?
No.
It's 1 week away. Come on now.
No, it's
2 weeks away.
no, it's not.
1 week, 2 weeks. That's 1 week.
It's 20.
Did it again.
He's knocking the mic down again.
I'm just so excited.
So you're going to want to make sure that you tune in for that. That's going to be so awesome.
I'm going to give him a hint. I'll be there.
Wow.
You're definitely going to be tuning in now.
That's
What?
awesome, Steve. Because you are Steve.
I am Steve. That's right.
Steve was a very young fan at one of our places that we investigated. And he is, like, Steve is his superhero. So if you ever
Why
hear
wouldn't I be?
What's his name?
Steve.
The little kid.
Steve.
Wait. There was one of the boys' name.
Give him a
Damien.
pop.
Well, actually, we probably should ask before we give out the name.
Oh, that's probably true. Well, I was just thinking the first name.
Anyway, so every time he ever
What
sees
is going on
Steve, he's like, Steve, and he runs up. We're like nothing. He plows through everybody else but Steve.
What's up, Steve?
Yeah, he's always thrilled to see him. And when he was a little scared, he
Talked him down.
yeah, we talked him down, and he said, "But you're Steve." So Steve has a big head from that.
We had this conversation earlier.
Yeah. And having a big head's not such a bad thing, right, Steve? It's okay. It's okay, Steve. But anyways, so we hope that you guys tune in with us for our Halloween special. We have a lot of really cool people coming. It's going to be a spooky surprise, and we definitely are excited for it. And we have also coming up in the following month is Lorna Reynolds. She is a awesome psychic medium. Hypnotist. Yeah, let's
Hypnosis.
say. Yeah.
Maybe
and
she
this
can make me
lady
really thin
is-
on that.
This lady is hilarious as well. She has the best sense of humor. I think her and Chip Coffey together would probably be a good show together. They're both quite funny together.
You are getting sleepy.
And then we have Bob Christopher from Ghost Detectives coming on, and hopefully some of his teammates will be joining him as well. And there is someone else I can't remember.
Sorry, we're tired. Memories are fading. That wasn't a ghost.
No. Anyway.
I do want to, before we leave, as we sign out, I do want to play one of the things that we caught at the Haunted Victorian that Brian and Terry actually caught. And so we'll play that after we sign off, if you guys want to hang around and listen.
Do you want to give a pre-thing?
It was up to the cupola, and it was shave and a haircut. Do you know what that is?
And those who don't know what the cupola is, right?
Cupola.
It's considered like the widow's walk or whatever. It's at the peak of the house where you go along this spiral staircase up to a window.
They could call it a dormer too. It's
Yeah.
I've heard it called a dormer.
If you actually look at the front of the house on a picture, it's the center of the house all the way to the top. like the
It's got 4
almost looks like a
windows
top
all
hat.
around it.
It's like you're walking into a
Big
dormer
square.
up there.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, and not to change the subject, but we also have coming up next week on Tuesday.
Next Tuesday evening.
We are going to be in Wells, Maine.
Wells,
at
Maine,
the,
that's right.
Well, we
Log-
serve the Log Home Farm.
Yep, we're doing a paranormal one-on-one there, and it's cheap. Cheap.
Wicked cheap.
It's,
So-
$7 for non-members. No.
yeah,
Yeah,
$7.
$7 for non-members and $5 for members.
Don't take our word for it. Go to the website.
Yeah, and the money goes towards the
Keeping
Wells
the reserve,
Reserve.
yeah.
Which is a beautiful place.
Oh,
Amazing.
man, that place is.
You can learn about some paranormal, some techniques we use, some of the equipment we use, and actually see some of the evidence we've caught there, as well as other places.
We'll let you use some of
And
the
a little bit
equipment.
of a hands-on 101, right?
Yeah, we're gonna.
And then maybe go check out the barn.
Yeah, we're going to do a quick investigation, hopefully a prelim for a
Which
bigger
we've actually caught
investigation.
some really cool stuff already.
Oh, yeah. This place is amazing.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very old.
So once again,
Originally established
Come out and see us.
in 1646.
It's old, very old.
Yeah.
Beautiful place.
that's all done me.
So, and we are literally the only ones who have ever investigated there.
Yeah.
So far, yeah.
Yeah, so,
Come out and see us.
Definitely a cool place to
Next
come out.
Tuesday, the 29th.
You can look on
6:30.
our STURS Facebook pages for a little more information on it, or you can go on to the Log Home Wells Reserve website, and you actually can sign up there and pay the $7 or $5, whichever applies for you on there. And, you know, at the very least, it's definitely a cool place to check out, and definitely come and see us and hang out with us awesome people.
And there are and some of us not so awesome people.
That's Steve.
Steve. It's all about Steve. No.
It is. I'm gonna get that on a t-shirt.
Steve.
It's all about Steve.
Also, this Saturday, we are going to be at the
Rollinsford
Mills,
Lower
Rollinsford, New Hampshire,
Lower Mill.
at the Unity Fair. So if you want to come by there and hang out with us, that's from 10 to 4.
Is there a small fee to get upstairs?
I don't know.
There's a lot of cool things.
Donation thing? Is it
Maybe.
a donation thing?
You know what? If there's a fee to get in,
Can't be
it's
that
dirt
much.
cheap.
Yeah.
And you know what? There's like psychics there and
Reiki
Reiki and
practitioners and
oh
Sound healing.
yeah, I'm not sure if they'll be there, but the past couple ones that we've been at, it's what DGDoo.
Didgeridoo.
Didgeridoo.
This is a cool thing.
Wah, wah,
Definitely.
It is. It's vibrational healing. It's
Awesome. I've done it twice. I love it. I'm going back.
It's cool because they're literally those really long horns that.
Apparition.
Cola guy.
Yeah, right.
It's like those big long Ricola things.
So that's cool. That's definitely something. If you really want to like try a bunch of different things, which is actually what I did. We, instead of actually partaking in the fair last time, we went and experienced everything. Steve and I did. And
Intense.
I got a foot massage. That was awesome.
You got those rocks too, the Andorra rocks or whatever they are, crystals.
Andorra.
Andorra crystals.
Yeah.
Yep. And
Rebalances your chakras.
chakra. Yeah. So
Very interesting.
I think it's definitely some place to go and check out if you're interested in that stuff, or you just want to come see us, say hi.
Just to let you know, though, I think all that stuff is for fees. Each person has their own table, so
Yeah.
if you want a massage, it's going to cost, but it's dirt cheap. It really is.
Minimal.
Yeah,
It's
like-
very minimal.
I think I spent very, very little money. I actually ended up with last time a month free of chiropractic care, which was cool. Which actually is good friends with one of our guests that we had on a couple months ago, which is cool. Anyways, So we've actually run a little over our time, a teensy.
Well, you're going to play that?
Yep.
Bit. So yeah, so before we go, we're going to play the...
Shave and a haircut.
Yeah, shave and a haircut and what's actually, before we go, what's cool, we don't have it on EVP. Well, we have it, but we're not sharing it. But Steve and I actually did the same thing with, was it Tina that was with us?
Yeah.
And we were up there.
After this response, because you guys told us about it.
Yeah, I think it was one of our last stops of the night. And we asked them to do the same thing, and we had K2 meters with us. So we did, those who don't know what shave and a, whatever it is.
A little ditty.
And then you hope that there's another, yeah, to it. Well, anyways, we did and our K2 meters literally lit completely up.
Twice.
Yeah, like real quick, doot, as
all the
in
way to
response to it. So.
Cool.
In our EVP, we got a response.
And here it is.
Can you knock on the wall like this? That is so cool.
That's awesome.
Did I hear right?
I don't know.
Thank you. We heard that.
So let's turn it up just a little bit so everybody's headphones aren't the same, so people can really hear the knock.
And I love Brian's reaction.
It's totally different.
Yeah.
The way I did it,
That
the
was
knock
sweet.
back is like different.
Yeah.
Here it is again. Might be a little louder this time, so brace your ears.
Can you knock on the wall like this?
That's sick.
Did I hear right?
I don't know.
Thank you. We heard that.
That's awesome. That's totally awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah, I was very surprised that we caught that.
Do we have like...
I think we keep going.
All right, I'll save it time. Sorry, Danny and Tiffany. we'll pay a little extra time. They're probably laughing at us. Wapatula!
Yeah. It's Halloween.
Yeah, I gotta let you know, if you're listening, that Brian is stuck on Wapatula.
Wapatula!
He's said about 3 times this week.
That's number 4 right there.
Oh, well, last week. All right, so
we were in, me and Naomi were in the red room. And
Naomi and I
were in the red room. And we actually had shut the door because we were trying to cut down on contamination. And we basically heard what sounds like a kid's ball bouncing across the front of the doorway. On this EVP, it actually sounds like it's just bouncing in one spot, but this has actually had a direction to it. It came from inside the room. It came from my right to my left across the door, almost from down one stairwell to the other stairwell. So.
And just to give you a little more information, there is actually a ball that's in the room that was next to us in the nanny's room, which is the room I was uncomfortable with. And the stairs actually are, where they go down, are right next to the room we were in, the red room. And it sounds like the ball is bouncing in the open area
in the main
of that
hallway.
Floor and then down the stairs.
Yep, there it is.
That's why they don't live here anymore.
Oh, you could barely hear it.
Yeah, here it is a little bit louder.
That's why they don't live here anymore.
Yeah, I hear it now.
Yeah, it goes click, 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 click.
And like Steve literally, like right after that, went out there, looked to see if there was a ball he could see, asked everybody that was on that floor if it bounced a ball or anything, or and the ball was actually where it was last left, which was in the nanny's room.
No one actually even heard a ball or the sound in that hallway.
That's right.
So the next one that we have is there was, where was this one? This was in the master bedroom, and it's just basically a sound that we caught that we actually audibly heard inside the room.
So that you?
Almost like someone's going, you know, trying to get our attention.
Sound like someone go.
Fingernails?
Yeah.
Possibly. Play it one more time.
Is that you?
I mean, you can hear me react to it.
Yeah, and it was just Steve and I actually in that room at that time. And that was in the master bedroom.
Master bedroom, yep. And then this one was actually in Lillian's office. It was me, Naomi, me, and Tina.
What's that? Came over here.
I mean, Tina reacts to it almost immediately, saying it was right in front of her.
No, I think it was actually, like, if I'm where Tina is, it was to her right in the back corner, if I remember
right
correctly.
Behind her.
Which would have been to, because you were sitting
I
at
was
the
sitting at the
desk,
desk.
and so you were to the left. I want to say it was right, because I was near that back corner, and it was behind me.
See if I can get it a little bit clearer. It might have been a little distorted.
What's that? Came over here.
You sound so tired.
I was white. If anybody's seen the pictures of me of that day, I was soaked with sweat too.
Yeah, it was warm in there.
That was a hot night.
So.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
This is the last EVP. I'm not sure where we are, and I am not sure what this noise is. It almost sounds like a video game to me.
I think we were talking about that it was when we left like one of our recorders in one of the rooms by itself.
I mean, all you hear is nobody talking, nobody around. It's just this weird noise. So. To me, it almost sounds like sonar on a submarine.
Dive.
I think turn it down a little so that it's not so so that people can hear it better.
That's weird.
Wow.
I mean, what do you guys think that could be?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
Sounds metallic.
Yeah. It's almost like a sonar going out and coming back.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a guy from the Navy that worked on subs actually listen to that. Because I don't.
You work on stuff?
I work on them. I've never actually listened to the sonar. I was Army.
You know, come to think about it, do you remember when we were in the master bedroom and we heard it was like the nanny, like something about time to go to bed?
Yeah, it didn't come across too well for radio, but we do have that EVP.
That was cool. I remember that. That was you and I were in there. And then that's when Brian and Terry came in and scared the crap out of me.
We also had one where I was asking the gentleman where he burned, and it also doesn't come across well on the radio, but the EVP says right here.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So I don't know where right here is, but right here was right there.
Is there?
I guess.
Or right here?
And somewhere.
There? Here?
Maybe here, there, and everywhere.
Over there?
I don't know. Can you tell what time?
Anyway.
Do we still have people actually listening on chat? We do.
Lori,
Lori, my cousin Lori.
Hey, Lori.
Thanks for hanging with us.
And we had Maureen on.
Maureen is a trooper always.
We love Maureen.
There's a few guests
And
logged in.
all her teammates. They're awesome. We also went and helped them at
Rawlinson Mills.
Yeah, that
Sick.
was awesome.
Sick.
Yeah.
Basement's creepy.
We got some stuff, dude. Let me just tell you.
Our
Yeah.
flashlight worked better than Chip's coffees.
Yep.
You know what? I usually have good flashlight sessions.
Love you too, Lori.
I didn't have a very good flashlight session down
Isn't that funny?
Yeah,
there. I mean, we got like two little
blue.
And by the way, that wasn't the down Chip coffee, because that
No.
guy's amazing.
He's awesome. Yeah.
It just was dead in it.
Yeah.
No pun intended, but it was dead in there last night.
I I think the only action was when our K2 meters like had a little blip that went through.
Yeah.
It's like it went like something walked in front of us.
But you know what
and
though?
they all went off.
I had my own personal experience in there 3 times, and I can't explain what I saw. But somebody else in the room saw the exact same thing I saw.
I know, he did say that.
So.
The shadow?
Well, I saw 2 little shadows. One actually rolled towards me, like almost like somebody was rolling a black ball, where I lifted my foot because I thought it was going to hit me. And so that was weird. I was like, okay, I didn't see that. But then I literally saw a white flashlight, about 2 inches tall, really thin, almost like a little bit thicker than a piece of hair.
Yeah.
But it was bright, bright white. And it actually floated for a good foot in front of me. And I could watch it. And then all of a sudden it just dematerialized.
And then there was people who were behind us who actually saw the same thing. And they said it went right in front of them and then went out towards, because we were in the very, very, very front.
Right.
And,
because we were super VIPs. We were super VIPs.
And a lot of people don't know it, but John Wilkes Booth was associated with that building for a short period.
the Omni Hotel
Just
in
Omni
Boston.
Parker House Hotel,
Yeah.
just before he went down to where Lincoln was, Ford Theater.
Right.
It was like a few weeks prior to that.
Mm.
So, back to the Rollingsford Mills. We have some of the people that joined us. We did like a paranormal one-on-one with Mipa, helped them out, love them. And we have actually some of our new friends that have posted various things on our pages that they've caught, which they actually caught some really cool stuff.
Was there a scream? Was that posted there? Where am I thinking the scream came from?
I want to say it was in the basement. It was one of our people.
One of our friends from NEPA got a little girl. It's totally quiet in the basement.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, Don says, is there anybody here that would like to talk with us? And all of a sudden you hear this little girl go, Mommy?
That's cool.
Plain as day.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, this is just crazy stuff.
I have a friend of mine who love dearly. Her name's Jane. And she actually told me right before, like the day before, I believe, that her father was the superintendent at the Rollingsford Mills.
For like 20 years.
Yeah, and he actually died when she was 11 months old. So she really never got to hear or see, her father experience him. And so she came along, and we were in one of the rooms.
3rd floor.
And we asked if he, I asked for him if he would like to say a message. We would give him 10 seconds, and that he could
say whatever he wanted to.
Yeah, whatever he wanted into our recorders, give her a message. That would be great. And Steve actually was listening live on his recorder, and those who don't know what that means is when you have your headphones connected to your recorder and you're actually hearing
I can actually hear what's actually being played through my recorder.
What's being recorded.
Recorded through my.
And so he actually heard something. We played it back. We, of course, amplified it and listened to it. And it says, I miss you, Jane.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That is awesome.
Analyzing it closely. And really scrutinizing it. I believe that's what it said.
The cool thing about that is like 7 seconds into that 10 seconds of silence.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it took the time that you gave it, and that's amazing.
Yeah, that definitely was cool. That was my favorite part of the whole night because, you have someone who you love, and, and I had my father most of my life except for the past 6 years, and to not have, one of your parents in your life and to get that message, I think that was cool. So that, I don't know.
Take it for what it's worth, because I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Definitely very cool. So we should probably wrap things up. Don't you think?
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Dan, ate a cupcake.
Yeah, we had cupcakes for Dan for his birthday. And
yeah, I wish I could have given one to Edwin, but and to all our listeners, because we still have some sitting here. But don't worry, Dan. We took pictures. They'll be on Facebook.
He's
Made them especially for you, Meat.
Oh, jeez, you're terrible. So we hope that everybody joins us next week for our very, very special Halloween
extravaganza.
Yep, with all our mysterious guests.
And me.
Yep, and Steve. Yep, he's Steve. So thank you for everyone listening tonight, and thank you for Edwin joining us. We absolutely love his stories. We cannot wait to go back to the Haunted Victorian.
That is a nice house.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd love to live there.
That thing's creepy.
Right?
I'd love to live there.
We could all live there. There's enough room.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could all just, I don't want the bird room.
I'll stay down the street. I'll come visit.
No, the bird room. I don't want the bird room.
I like the red room.
Yeah, I like the red room too.
I like the red room.
I'll sleep in the cupola.
The cupola.
The cupola?
Red rum. Red rum. Sorry. Having fun.
And we want to say hi to Tina and Marion. We love those girls. Those girls were awesome. We
and hopefully we get to meet Lillian next
they're
time.
still drinking out of my cup.
Oh, that's right. We should.
STURS rubber cups.
The STURS Silly Pint.
Come see us.
All right, so join us this Saturday at the Unity Fair in Rollingsford at the Mills.
Tuesday.
And that's 10 to 4. And then Tuesday in Wells at the Wells Reserve.
6:30 to 8:30.
Yep, that should be a lot of fun as well.
Show up a little early.
Yeah, definitely show up early because we are starting promptly.
6:30.
At 6:30.
Yep, and it'll be over in the barn area. So if you get there and not sure where to go, it'll be
The big barn.
yeah, towards the
Have a great night.
Rolling Hills Asylum. Located in East Bethany, New York, just minutes between two major airports, Rolling Hills Asylum is a hotbed of paranormal activity. They have been featured on Travel Channel's Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Challenge, as well as Sci-Fi Channel's Ghost Hunters. Rolling Hills Asylum has been named the #2 most haunted location in the United States by HauntedNorthAmerica.com. The property was established on January 1st, 1827, as the county poor farm. Throughout the years, it has operated as a poor farm, infirmary, orphanage, tuberculosis hospital, nursing home, and more. Past residents and inmates consist of widows, orphans, physically disabled, mentally unstable, murderers, and more. Over 1,700 bodies are buried in unmarked graves, and hundreds more deaths went undocumented. Rolling Hills Asylum is known for a plethora of phenomena, including disembodied voices, doors slamming, footsteps, sounds of furniture moving, full-body apparitions, shadow people, ghostly touches, and numerous Class A EVP. Rolling Hills Asylum proudly offers historical and flashlight tours, 4- and 8-hour public ghost hunts, 8- and 9-hour private ghost hunts, and more, by appointment or pre-booking only. For more information, please visit www.rollinghillsasylum.com. That's www.rollinghillsasylum.com. Or give them a call, 585-502-4066. That's 585-502-4066. Rolling Hills Asylum. What are you doing this weekend?